I'm a film editor. My name is Virginia Katz. My father was a film editor, and I was in between semesters and not allowed to go to the beach like everybody else. I had to go do something, and he had his own editing company. So I went in there, he had a lot of films going, went in there to help and loved it from the very beginning. I was always an observer. I've always been an observer, even as a kid. I would observe things and people, and so to be in a cutting room is very much that. You're observing everything. You can read a script, you can read a scene. When they shoot it, it may be totally different than what is on the page. Dialogue might be the same, but you're never going to see how it really is going to go together. So once I look at the film, I just start moving the pieces where I think they ought to go. But I usually have some kind of idea after I see the dailies of, especially after I start cutting, where I want to go next. So it's just kind of there, I guess. One of the great things for me is, and I think probably most editors would agree, it fits my personality, because being in an editing room, being by myself, putting it together, not having voices around me, just sitting and basically like a puzzle, just sitting there for basically months on end, putting the movie together. I lucked into a movie where Marion, who I was working with this new young filmmaker named Bill Condon, and I ended up doing some of the cutting on that, and we became kind of friends. And so the next thing that he did, which was like a TV movie, I think, I went on with him, and I've been working with him for many years now. We did the last two Twilights together, which was visual effects, but nothing like Beauty and the Beast. It was a challenge in that there were a lot of previses before we started shooting. There had to be. So for a number like Be Our Guest, which was this huge, we shot the room, we shot all of the practical things with like a candelabra that was going to become alive. And the idea of working with blank spaces, knowing where they were going to be and how the movement was going to go, and also having the rough sketches help enormously. But that was all new to me. So the fun of working on a musical and of working on an iconic piece of film, like from the animated, it was wonderful. So it was a great experience, it really was. What changed for me the most was when I started working on Avid, my feeling in the cutting room changed, because with film, I could have a room full of the director and producers, and I'm waiting for a piece of film so I can, connect them, splice them, and run it. The stress of a room full of people waiting to see something is gone now. Everything's there. I never have to wait for anything. I never have to, ask an assistant to find me this or find me that. So I go home much more relaxed, and I think anybody who worked on film would probably say the same thing. The emotional drain is so much less than it was. Every time I go onto a new film and it's kind of like the next generation, it's better. A couple of years ago, you start getting faster than the machine. Now you can be fast and it actually stays there. If somebody wants to be an editor, then they should go for it 100%. I have seen a lot of people who have made the leaps and the jumps, and it has to have that determination and the ability to not let things get in your way and not not be veered off because you listen to somebody who says, oh, that'll never happen. Don't let anybody or anything get in your way, because there are a lot of people who will put an obstacle in the way. And I think if you're really determined to do what you most feel passionate about, then you just barge through. And I think that's what it takes.